Hello, my name's Helen. Welcome to my podcast/journal. It's February 2024. It is the 15th of February here, and it is 1:05. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're a returning YouTuber, then you're very welcome, and I'm glad you came back. I live in New Zealand, at the top of the South Island, in a place called Nelson. I live here with my husband and my dog Bailey, who's a red border collie. I have two grown-up children. One is, my oldest is a boy, Nick, and my youngest is Carissa. Her and her partner are just about to have a baby. She's 37 weeks this week, so any time now. And in my past podcasts I've been showing different knitting and things that I've been doing for the new baby, but I've got to the stage where I'm just waiting and seeing how things fit and what size and what season and things like that. So I'm sure I'll be doing more, but in the meantime, I'm just getting on with a few things of my own. I've got only a couple of, or three whips and one finish this time, and then I've got a few acquisitions. We went to Christchurch last week for just 4 days, just as a bit of a getaway. We worked all over Christmas, New Year, and so we decided to go away just for a few days and get that done before Carissa has her baby, and we might be needed here a bit more. So that was a really nice trip. I'm going to show you some footage of the trip down and sort of a bit of the countryside and things on our way down. It was mainly a shopping trip. We wanted to go and look for a new dining room suite and hadn't been able to find anything here we liked. We'd found tables we liked, but not chairs, and chairs and not table. So we thought we'd go down, because there's a lot more shops and things down there, and some big stores and things that we don't have here. So we went down looking for that, and we were successful, so we're just waiting for that to arrive. And there was a few other things. We wanted to look for a mat for the lounge over here, because the mat we've got there is looking a little bit sad. And then we did some personal shopping, and I did a little bit of wool shopping, so I'll show you what I got for that a bit later. But my first finish, I decided to make a needle book, because I can never find a needle when I need one, and with doing a little bit more quilting and stitching and things, I've been looking for them for quite a bit just lately. So I ended up having a go at some really fine, my very first English paper piecing, but I ended up doing some miniature English paper piecing. I never do things by halves, and so I made this pretty little book. It's got one pattern on the front there and a pattern on the back, and it undomes. Oops. And then I've got a page in with some clips and a little pocket if I need it. And then here I've got a couple of different types of stitch markers, needle threaders, and just decorated that. And then I've got, I had to show you, a little flap, which I can put needles underneath, and I've got pins at the moment. And then I've got lace that I can stick things into, and I've just got some gold little safety pins there. And then this page I'm leaving free for when I'm doing some English paper piecing or hand sewing or something. I can load a whole lot of needles up and have them there ready to go with the cotton, and then I can just work my way through them, and I'm not stopping and starting all the time. So I thought that might be a good idea. I saw it somewhere, I'm not can't remember where I saw it, but who was it? Anyway, I thought it was a great idea, so I've left that page free, and then I've got another page that's just all different needles. I've got another flap page there, so it's going to hold quite a bit, and then I've got this section here for some really unusual needles that I've got, and a big wool needle, little pair of scissors, and then I've got a little pocket here if I need it. So I'm really pleased with that. I can have it around, so anytime I need a needle I can just grab one quickly, and anything else that I might need when I'm sewing, so really happy with that. I ended up looking at all sorts of Pinterest pictures and videos and all sorts of things on YouTube just to get some ideas, and they all varied quite a bit, so I ended up just combining a whole lot of them and putting it together, so really happy with that. So that's really my only finish this time round, and to get on with some more of my works in progress. I hadn't even started this last time when I was talking to you, but I've almost finished it. So the first thing I've got is a continuous granny square blanket. Now this is showing up really dark, but it's not a dark, it's quite a pretty red. I'm not sure how to, yeah, that's more the colour. So it's really pretty sort of dark red with just cream. I decided I wanted to have a go because I'd been crocheting and knitting with quite a bit of acrylics up till now, and I decided I'd like to have a go at doing some real sheep's wool. So I ended up going to a big box store that we have here. It's an Australian company called Crafty, and I bought some of the Australian 100% wool to do this because I wanted it as a sort of lap blanket for in the winter when we have some of our cold nights. And even though it crochets up very nicely, I'm finding it's quite rough, and it's also, because it's got fluffy, it fills up the holes quite a bit. So I'm not sure whether I did it what the recommended crochet hook size was, but I'm not sure whether I've done it right or not. But anyway, it is what it is. The holes aren't very big, which I suppose is a good thing. So I've got a heart motif in the front, in the middle. Now I got my inspiration from a lady called Belle Stitch, I think it's, or Belle Stitch, and I'll link that in the description below the video. She did this beautiful dusky pink and white one, and I just thought it was just beautiful, so I thought I'd have a go at doing that. But mine's not nearly as soft as hers looks, but I'm thinking maybe when I wash it and block it, it might soften up a little bit. It's just very kind of, it's not scratchy as such, but just a bit rougher than I'm used to. So yeah, the heart in the middle, and then it's got one stripe, and then it's got a really big red stripe. And then I'm going to do, I've done this white, red, and I'm going to do another 5 rows of the white. And then I'll do, depending on whether I have enough wool or not, I'll do 3 to 5 more rows of the red, and then I'm going to go round with the creamy and do a scallop border right round it. So at the moment it's looking this big. So it's got a little bit more to go, but I don't want to put any more wool into it because it's what, $9 a ball, and I started off with 4 red and 2 white, and I've had to go and buy 2 more red, and I've had to buy another white. So at the moment it's going to be taking 900 grams at $9 a ball, so it's starting to mount up, so I don't want to put any more money into it, so it'll be enough to just throw over your lap, which is what I was wanting. So that's the first whip, and the second whip was oh sorry, the camera just keeps going dark, doesn't it, with the lighting. I decided I'd go and sort of start a baby one. So I've gone back to acrylic for that, and I've got 2 shades of blue and a white, and these are all 4 Seasons Marvel 8 ply. These feel a lot softer, that I got from another big box store. And it's also Australian, called Spotlight. So I ended up getting the 3 colours here, and I'm doing another one, but with the 2x2 stripes, and I'll just go as much as I've got wool, and that can end up being a baby blanket. It's definitely softer, and I don't think it's as closed looking as the wool one is, so I haven't got very far with it. I decided I'd finish the other one first, so I've just popped it away in a project bag, one of the ones I made, and I'll go back to that as soon as I finish the other one. Although now I've got an idea for another blanket that's going to be knitted garter stitch, so that might wait, I don't know, or I'll do both at the same time. And then I've been watching a lot of podcasts, and they've been talking about sock knitting, and I've never had a go at sock knitting, so I decided I might get myself some. And so while we were in Christchurch, I went to a little yarn shop called Get Flocked. It's in the main CBD part of Christchurch, and I ended up buying 2 skeins of wool that are sock wool. So they're by a lady that's a dyer called Kiwiyarn-a, and her name's Rebecca Folds, and you can buy this online as well, but I ended up going and getting it from the shop. This one here is called Soulmate. It's so lovely and soft, and it's 80% merino, 20% nylon, 400 metres, 100 grams. I don't think I'll need to use all of that for a pair of socks, but it's very pretty. And then I bought another one, which I've already caked up and started a pair of socks. So that's my next work in progress. And this is the yarn here. It's lovely bright pink, and it was for some reason called Surfing, which I don't understand why it would be called surfing when it's this sort of colour, but very pretty. And so I've started knitting a pair of socks. The pattern I got, because I've never knitted socks before, I wasn't sure about sizing, and I'm usually a fairly loose knitter, and so I did a what do you call it? A gauge swatch, and went on to Ravelry and found a few patterns. And this one here is it's called a ribbed tall sock, and it's called the Argonautica, and it's by Laura McLean. And it's got half, the whole leg part is in ribbing, and I thought, well, if I was on the big side, it might, cinch in enough, and I might get away with it if it turns out I have gone to too big a size. I've definitely done the measurements and done the gauge swatch, and I was spot on for the gauge stitch wise, but me and my knitting, I don't know what's up with it, but I never seem to reach row gauge, and I'm not sure how to fix that, because stitch gauge I'm fine. So do I do every second row on a different size needle, or do I just do more rows, or do I pick patterns that they say are just a certain length? This sock says a certain length, so I thought that was perfect for a first go. But yes, it's going well. I've got a little bit longer to go. This is how it's knitting up. To me it looks really small, but I have tried it on and it does stretch out enough to fit on my foot. So we'll just keep trusting the process. I've listened to a whole lot of people that do sock knitting, and they say they use 60 stitches on 2.25 needles. This is 2.5 needles, so just one size up. And it, again, the pattern said, and it turned out the same as 60 stitches. So yeah, I'm going to trust the pattern, and we'll just finish the first one. I'll try it on as I go, and hopefully I'll have a wearable sock out of it by the end. I'm wondering whether when I get to the end of, because I've got to do this 2x2 rib until 15 centimetres, so I wonder if once I get to the 15 centimetres I might start the second one, as I've caked up the 100 grams into 250 gram balls, so that I'm getting to the same stage. I've put row counts little stitch counters every 10 rows, and so I can just totally follow that. But I thought I might get to the same stage so that when I start doing the heel flap and gusset, I would, do them kind of together, a few rows here, and then, or do the whole heel. And then I'm a little bit inclined to have cast-on-itis, as they say, so I like starting new projects, but then I kind of get bored after a while. So if I make sure I'm doing both socks at the same time, then I definitely will end up with a pair, where if I just finish one whole one, I might not get back to the second one. So I think that might be a good idea for me. So that's my 3 whips at the moment. I've still got one more whip which I'm not going to show you today, because it's the poncho that I showed you last time, and I haven't done anything more on it. I must get back to it at some stage, because I would like it for the sort of when it starts getting a bit cooler. We still got quite hot. Down in Christchurch they were saying 25 to 30, but most of the days we were down there it was only about 23 to 25, and they have quite a dry heat down there, where we here in Nelson have a very muggy heat, and I think our 22s, 23s are hotter than their 28, 29. So it's just, whatever you're used to, I guess. So we didn't find it too hot down there, and we were in and out of shops and malls and things, so it was all air conditioned and things, so we didn't find it too hard at all. So that's my whips. And the last thing I'll show you is the rest of what I've purchased. So I showed you the 2 sock wools that I've purchased from the shop in Christchurch. Now there was another shop in Christchurch which I was hoping to go and see, and we ended up one afternoon towards the end of the time down there, we went and found the house. It turned out to be in a lady's house. It's a lady called Unwind and Knit with me, and I'd seen her products online, and she has a little shop in her house. But what I hadn't actually read right at the bottom of her website is that it's by appointment, and you had to ring her to arrange a time to go into the shop, and we ended up running out of time to do that. So while I was down there, I ended up putting an order in online, and it was waiting for me when it got delivered the day that we got back. We drove back, so that was really nice. And next time I think I'll try and go and see her shop. Her name's Lisa, and she's got a podcast which I'll link down below. So it's really nice to see another New Zealand podcaster. And I ended up buying 2 different wools from her. I bought a couple of these ones are called Lupins in Summer, and she's just got into indie dyeing, so these are some of her first ones that she's done, and they've just a beautiful range of mauves and pinks and a little bit of bluey mauve. They're all 100% New Zealand Merino 4-ply fingering weight and 395 metres on the 100 gram skein there. So that's 2 of them. At first I thought I would maybe just do a shawl with them, but I've just discovered a pattern that was like a little summer top, and I thought maybe if I made it, I'll do a swatch first, but if the fabric turned out to be fine enough, I might get away with wearing a no sleeve. Well, it's got a tiny little cap sleeve, I think. It's just got lace at the top and a lace board around the bottom. So I thought I can't cast on now because I've got enough projects to work on, but I put it aside and I'll cast it on later, and when I have it as a whip, I'll show you the pattern and everything. But I think there's enough meterage there to do the top, so, and I'd quite like to have a summer top that I've knitted myself, so I think I'm earmarking it for that. And then I also bought this one which I thought might go, and I was going to alternate this colour and that colour for a shawl and do a sort of stripy shawl, but it turns out from the photo it looks quite different in real life. So this one's called Hawaiian Beach, and it's a 100% high twist fingering weight, which is supposed to be really good for socks. So because it wears really well, it doesn't pill or anything, the same she was saying. So I think I'll earmark that for another pair of socks, probably just vanilla plain ones, because it's got like little bits of purple in it and little flecks of blue, and even sort of pinks and a little splashes of orange and all sorts of colours in it, but it's got a sort of greyish background, so it didn't really go, well, I didn't think it went very well with that. Possibly does, but I ended up going with 2 balls of that, and I'll just do the top, I think. So that's my acquisitions for this last few weeks. My new project that I'm looking at, I'll go and get some cream wool in an 8-ply DK, because I'm thinking of doing a checkered garter stitch blanket, I think, with that. So when I start that, I'll probably show you next time how I'm going with that. But that's pretty much it. With the being away, and we've also had my daughter's baby shower just the weekend before we went away, so that was all, a lot of work went into that, and it was a great success. She really enjoyed herself and she was thoroughly spoilt. So yeah, we had a lovely time with all her friends and some of our family and things. So it's been quite a busy month, so I haven't really actually done, other than the blanket, which I've been doing in the evenings, I haven't really done a great deal of anything else. So yeah, hopefully next month I'll have a little bit more to show you. But yes, so we'll say goodbye here, and I'll leave you having a look at some of our the footage that I took for our trip down to Christchurch. There was certainly a difference, even though I thought we were looking a little bit dried out and parched because we've had a bit of a heat wave here. Christchurch is so much worse. It was very crispy and brown looking, so you'll see that in the photos as we got closer to Christchurch. I didn't take any photos of actual Christchurch because it's a lot of it's in construction still after the big earthquakes that they had. When was that? I'll put it across the screen. When the 2 big earthquakes, and there was a lot of buildings damaged, so they've had to rebuild a lot of especially the CBD area. So I didn't take any photos of that. And it was also really busy with traffic and stuff, so it wasn't very easy to take photographs out of the car as we were travelling around. So sorry about that, but I've definitely got some footage of, going down. So we'll say goodbye, and thank you for sticking with me. Hope it's not been too waffly, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you as one of our group here, and I'll catch you next month. Hopefully have a few more things to show you. Bye for now.